I had never used bone conduction earphones before, so when Mojawa contacted me and asked if I wanted to take a look at these Mojo 2 earphones, I was like, why not? Hey, Nish here, and today I'm going to be giving you my honest review after having given these headphones a thorough test run. Taking a look close up, first we can see that they have a band type wireless design and come in at $120 after a $30 promotion they currently have running. They weigh just 26 grams, use the latest Bluetooth 5.2, have up to 8 hours battery life, and provided in the box you have a pouch to store them and a proprietary USB charger that connects magnetically. Mojawa have managed to score an IP67 rating on these headphones, so that means they're rated for temporary immersions in water, and also they're completely dust-proof. So definitely a very robust and rugged package, and they're definitely marketed towards active use, so be that in gyms or workouts or running. So let's talk about bone vibrations, and that's not a euphemism. Traditional headphones and earphones use speakers to vibrate the air around your ears, and then those vibrations propagate through to your eardrum, which also then reverberates and then goes to your hearing facilities, which is some bones or something. In contrast, these headphones, they sit just outside your ear on where the tragus is, and the vibrations instead kind of conduct all the way through to your ear. Now, what is the point of this? Well, one of the biggest benefits is that your ear is no longer blocked and impeded. This means you can be fully alert to your surroundings. So if you're working out or running in urban areas or dangerous areas, then you can remain fully alert and not miss anything like the sound of a car. Another thing is, for example, if you're working and you need to be able to respond to people and not be like, what? when you take off your headphones, then it's another good option. Lastly, there's also going to be some people who headphones and earphones just don't work for, maybe the size of their ear and they can't get comfort. So this is also another option because the design is a lot simpler. Now this headband design is fixed. There's no adjustments, and you can see the drivers sit on a loop that sits over your ear. Despite the lack of adjustability, I find they fit pretty snugly. So running, jumping around, even being upside down, as you can see here, are not a problem for these headphones. There's a slight tension in them that keeps them attached to your head, but it's pretty comfy. The controls are fairly simple. There's one multi-function button, which is your standard affair hold to turn on and off, one press to play and pause, two presses to skip song, and three presses to rule them all. Three presses to reverse track. You can also control volume using the right-hand side Mojawa logo, swiping up and down to change the volume at will. I didn't find any issues with these controls, they work well. Before I talk about my experience with the sound, please do subscribe if you're liking what you're seeing so far. Helps the channel grow and the video to get out there, and I would appreciate it very much. Now, compared to normal headphones, these were definitely interesting to listen to. I remember when I first put them on, I was like, wow. And the first thing that struck me is that the sound stage is really wide, and the sound stage is kind of where it feels like the music is coming from. So when you have earbuds, it's a very narrow sound stage, and then when you have headphones and open headphones, you expand. So that was a cool feature. You actually get a good listening experience, and there's a lot of detail and balanced sound coming out of these headphones, especially in vocals. Now, one of the cons that bone conduction earphones can have is bass response, because the driver isn't as big and it's being communicated in a different way to your ears. Mojawa claim to have made a patented technology bass driver thing, and I can say that I was pleasantly surprised by the bass response on these earphones. There is a good thump coming from them, and most importantly for me, it isn't an overbearing, turning the sound into a muddy mess kind of bass. It's a good, tight sound. However, if I am to be fully objective and compare these to, say, if I went out and bought some headphones or earphones for $120, these don't quite stack up. Now, this is a bit of an unfair comparison, right? Because this is a completely different technology, but I have to say that from an audiophile, audio quality perspective, these maybe fall short compared to others. But that being said, clearly these are marketed more towards an active use, and I'll talk about that more in my conclusions. Let's summarize now by talking about pros and cons. The first pro is that these are pretty comfy. They sit nicely on the ear for me, and I think if you have problems with traditional headphones or earphones, then these are a good alternative. One minor gripe I did have about the comfort is that band actually sits away from your head, and this means if you're sitting down or lying down, then that band is going to impede whatever you're doing and the headphones are going to fall off. So it's basically very limited to a standing up, walking around, or sitting on a chair kind of experience. It's not going to be an all-around use. Second pro is that I think these are really rugged. I think they've got a simple design. They've used titanium for the metal band, so I think it's a solid one unit piece. It's dust-proof, it's waterproof, and I think you could have a lot of longevity from these using them in certain scenarios where other headphones and earphones might not hold up. Thirdly, there's that bass response I mentioned. It's pleasantly thumpy, and I think if you're into those kind of genres, then you will be satisfied with these. As for cons, Well, it's more of a general characteristic. Now, I mentioned with these bone conduction earphones, the benefit is that you can still hear everything when you're using them. This is a double-edged sword because you can still hear everything. And honestly, I found walking around, say, in an urban environment where there's a lot of cars, you really have to crank the volume up, and it's not a great listening experience compared to your typical active noise cancellation headphones. Again, to be honest, this is a use case which isn't a strong point of these headphones, but I have to evaluate, like for me personally, when I look at the kind of environments I'm listening to music, I have to consider those kind of environments, and for me, it's a bit annoying having zero isolation. Now, included in the box is some earplugs in case you want to block out the outside world while using the headphones. It's a little bit ironic, perhaps, using earplugs with headphones that are like zero isolation because it's just going to be annoying taking earplugs in and out, and at that point you might as well look to something else, but at least it's nice they included them and a nice freebie nonetheless. In conclusion, these are a decent pair of headphones. I don't think they're specifically for me in terms of the use cases I have for headphones, but I think for sure if you're looking for something for use in fitness and workouts and you don't care all too much about sound quality, not that it's bad, it's that these are not audiophile headphones, for example. I think it's definitely a good shout, and also for those, as I mentioned already, people who don't get along with earphones or headphones, it's a good option that will fit everyone better because it sits on your ear rather than being jammed in your ear or blocking it. I hope this video has been useful in helping you decide if this is something you'd like to buy, and thanks again to Mojawa for sending them along. Thanks again for watching, subscribe for more to the point content, and I'll catch you in the next one.